But there was a time in my life when I didn't darken the door of this church. Later in high school, I went to Holy Trinity Catholic High School in Canada, and I later went to the University of Ottawa, where I really started to fall away from my faith. And I went to these places, I sought the peace that the world had to offer, and got involved in a life of partying and drinking and relationships that weren't good for me. And I had everything I thought I needed to be happy. I thought I had everything the world told me I needed to have peace in my heart, and yet I was miserable. I had no peace. And it was in the midst of that a roommate of mine, who's actually sitting right next to me today, Deacon Mark Andre, he was involved with a group of Catholic university students, and I remember he asked me one day, he said, "Sebastian, what's going to bring you happiness? What's going to bring you peace?" And I said I had all these ideas of all the things that were I was trying to bring peace, but weren't working. And he said, "There's only one thing that's going to give you peace." And I knew what he was talking about. I knew it was God. And I knew that I wasn't even sure if I believed in God. I wasn't even sure if God was real. And he invited me to a university students retreat so many years ago in 2000, and I think it was 13. And they were talking about a relationship with God, a God who loves me, a God who died for me, who wanted me to be brought back into a relationship with him. And it was on that retreat that I returned back to the sacrament of reconciliation for the first time in a very, very long time. I grew up, my parents told me to go as a kid, but at this point, my list of sins was a lot longer. I really did have things on my heart that I needed to confess, things that were hurting me, things that were hurting other people, and things I was ashamed of, and that I'd never told anyone. And I remember I was so nervous. I went up to the priest in the confessional, and I told him my sins, and I remember he just looked up at me and he said, "Sebastian, God is so happy that you're here right now. He loves you, and he's been waiting for you this whole time." And I never heard anyone say that to me before. I thought God would be mad at me for all my sins. And there he was telling me that God was waiting for me. And that night, someone invited me to pray a prayer to invite Jesus to be at the center of my life. And I thought, what is there to lose, right? I don't have any peace or happiness in my heart. I'm going to invite Jesus into my life. So I prayed this prayer, invited Jesus into my heart for the very first time. And I didn't feel anything in that moment. But I remember after weeks and weeks after I prayed every day, I said, "Jesus, I invite you to be in my life. Nothing else working. Come into my life and give me peace, give me happiness." And I remember this very clearly. 2 weeks later, I was sitting in my room, and my whole life almost flashed before my eyes, and I saw all the gifts, all the amazing things in my life, my family, my friends, all these people that have been reaching out to me to share God's love with me. And I realized that my life is a gift.